Deep Shot Podcast, Season 4, Episode 29. John Smoltz.
That's the right number for this one for sure. We're talking about a legend, one of the three big dogs that we had throwing around Atlanta back in the day.
I was just thinking DeMarco Murray. That was really the only 29 that came to mind for me. Was DeMarco Murray.
I can't even think of another one.
Fantasy beast for
Fantasy
like a year and a
freak.
half in Dallas. And then he went to Tennessee or something and just died. I don't know what happened.
Oh,
That's exactly what happened.
did he actually die?
No.
Just his fantasy
it's-
hopes and dreams, his contributions to everybody's team.
Okay, all right. Well, welcome to another episode of Deep Shot Podcast. It is the recap of Week 12 of college football and Week 11 in the NFL. Big wins in Athens, big wins in Tuscaloosa, just not for the home team. Some crazy comebacks. We've got to talk about all of that. We've got a new playoff rankings. We're going to talk about the wild day in the NFL, a couple close games, a couple blowouts, and we're all going to get all into that here soon. And we're going to have our players and deep thoughts of the week at the end of it. Before we get into that, it is event week. It is time for Deep Shot Sports Helping Paws event at Mutation Brewing Company in Sandy Springs, Georgia. As you're hearing this, we're going to be 5 days away, November 22nd. And we've got some donations already coming through the Venmos at Deep Shot Sports if you want to get involved. We appreciate everybody that already has. It is going to be a huge event. We have got shirts and stickers and koozies and everything for you for what you donate in terms of how many pounds. If you donate anything, a toy or anything like that, or you will get a free drink ticket. Check out the Instagram to see the tier list, to see what all you can be rewarded for on Saturday. You guys hyped about anything for Saturday?
Ready to get after that Scoville hot chicken, dude. Y'all been talking about it for months. And even saw a little bit of it in the preview, tried to scroll around to see what they're really about. But yeah, I'm going to dive into one of those sandwiches on Saturday for sure.
I'm also really excited for the Scoville hot chicken. Listen, I'm just more excited to watch football, hang out with some people I don't get to see quite as often, drink some ice cold beer.
Mutation Brewery, all-day event. We've got some great local DJs. We'll all be there. And I think everybody who's anybody is going to be there. Just saying. All right. Also, make sure you guys are following on Instagram and TikTok for more updates. Let's start in Athens, Georgia. Not much to talk about nice on the Texas side, but a great game from the Georgia Bulldogs. We win 35-10, and some would say we're getting hot at the right time. All right, we beat Mississippi State last week by 1 billion. We do it again against Texas. Back-to-back weeks, we play a complete game. Gunnar Stockton, 4 passing touchdowns and a rushing touchdown. Best hard clap in the history of football. I've never seen someone draw people off sides the way Gunnar Stockton does with the clap of the hands. You got to give Mike Bobo credit. He has gotten a quarterback that he's trusts, and the system has looked great. Third downs, the fourth down call where, they bring in McCray as a fullback and they have Bowens go out. I thought that was perfect design, and just they waited long enough just to play it. I thought that was awesome. Defense showed up, made a lot of big plays, especially with C.J. Allen going out, Chris Cole, DeMello Jones, K.J. Bolden. Those guys were flying over the field. But Texas just soft as baby shit. They cannot hang with the big boys of college football or Florida, for that matter. They had a lot of mistakes in this game. They dropped passes left and right. They had 9 penalties. They only ran the ball for 23 yards. I think I saw a stat that said in their 3 games against Georgia, since joining the SEC, they haven't even run for 100 yards total, but combined. So they only scored a touchdown because they had a short field after a Gunnar Stockton interception, which he bounced back tremendously for. So just a huge win for Georgia. And we'll talk about another game in a second. But, dude, if they've got a chance to get to Atlanta, but top 4 at least right now.
Top 4 is looking almost like a lock. Just have to take care of business against Charlotte, take care of business against Georgia Tech, and then boom, we got to buy it. If we don't even have to go to Atlanta, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting to see if we're going to be able to not go to Atlanta and keep the bye. But to talk about the game, I'll say this. The final score looks awesome. 35-10 looks awesome. But man, I was never worried in this game, just to say that at halftime, going to halftime, it's 14-3 at halftime. Feels great, up 11, but it still felt like we should have been up by a lot more. And then going into the third quarter, Texas scores, they take advantage of that Gunnar Stockton interception. Then boom, it's 14-10. And at that moment, it's like, man, I feel like we have been dominating this game and we're only up by 4 points. And that's a scary place to be. That's a very scary place to be. But man, the MVP of the game, Gunnar Stockton, 5 touchdowns, awesome. The MVP of that game was Kirby Smart. The 2 decisions to go for it on 4th down, the one also give my props to Mike Bobo because that play call he had where he fakes a sweep and then just dumps it out to the running back in the flats. Perfect play call. Able to get that offsides on the clap like you talked about, but the onside kick after we get up and then to follow it up with that, nobody in the stadium was expecting it. Nobody was expecting it. I wasn't expecting it. And I love like Kirk Herbstreit was talking about on the broadcast that Steve Sarkisian even said during prep week, like talking to the media, we know that Kirby has something up his sleeve. It's going to be a go for it on fourth down. It's going to be an onside kick. It's going to be a fake punt. It's going to be, a fake field goal. This, that, or the other. Something is going to happen. And even knowing that that's going to happen, he was still able to get it by him. Completely game changing because even though Georgia was dominating up front and they were doing what they were playing the game we wanted to play, the scoreboard was never really reflecting it until the fourth quarter, until that decision to hit that, to go with the onside kick. And then all the momentum went with us. You could see it if you watch the replay of the kick return unit for Texas. You can just see all of their vibes and their momentum leave their body. And then to be that Texas be that Texas defense to just, man, we just got off the field and boom, we're right back on there.
We even said that in the press conference after. He was like, you got to feel bad for that defense over there, but it was just what we had in the bag. Caleb.
Yeah, and that's, when teams recover onside kicks like that, like it's a gut punch overall just for any team, no matter who you are in America. And not even just a defense. Like it ruins your morale on offense too, because you're like, can't go back on the field again. Everybody's hyped up. This just throws you out of the flow of the normal game. And calls like that in those scenarios are so huge. And he stole basically the game away. Like it snuffed out. You kind of knew that Texas had no chance after that onside kick got recovered, in my opinion. And also, too, special teams got Texas a lot more than it probably should have last night because you had the obvious onside recovery. They had a holding on a kickoff return that they busted, I think, all the way down to about the 30, and it got brought back. I mean, in Georgia, screwed up a couple punts here and there still in terms of special teams battle, but Texas's special teams coach, I said it to Justin last night, that shout out Justin, that he was on TV way too much. And it was always him yelling at somebody or cussing somebody out or saying like, what in the world's going on?
Pole Assassin had a big appearance last night on the broadcast. Every time I saw him, I just kept thinking about it. I said, there he is, the Pole Assassin. But great game for their SEC schedule is over. So they just have to wait and see. And things got interesting because of what happened in Tuscaloosa. Oklahoma wins 23-21. This game was indeed not a blowout, like somebody said it might be last episode. Oklahoma won this game when their offense was objectively not great. They did not do a lot of things good on offense. They had a 212 total yards on the day. They didn't run the ball, which we knew they couldn't, but they had one big run with John Mateer that was a touchdown. That was their only offensive touchdown of the day. They only had 12 first downs, which I had to look it up, well below average in a game in college football, and they only have 12 first downs as an offense. But that Oklahoma defense sacked Ty Simpson 4 times, caused the fumble, picked him off, made him uncomfortable that last drive. He was just missing throws. I mean, there were situations where he had wide open guys and just didn't get it to him. I watched Kalen DeBoer's press conference after the game, and one of the reporters said that this was Ty Simpson's 5th game in a row where he has had a sack fumble. And that's an issue. And I think that made a lot of sense to me because I feel like I do see him drop the ball a lot. But that's a problem for Alabama going forward. And they've been playing a lot of close games like we talked about last week. And this time the defense in Oklahoma really clutched up when they needed to. Their kicker, just doesn't miss. He had some big kicks in that game as well. Now they're in a spot where all they have to do is beat Auburn and go to the SEC championship. The bad news is for Alabama, they are now owned by Oklahoma. That is a thing. Just like Georgia owns Texas, Oklahoma does own Alabama.
And like how Alabama owns Georgia. Also.
No. But just like Oklahoma owns Alabama and Georgia owns Texas, those are things that happen. But Oklahoma now has to play Missouri and LSU left, and if they just win those games, they're in the playoffs. So shout out to Brett Venables, as long as they don't choke it out, which they might. But if they, right now, you got to shout out to that guy with all the stuff going on in college football, especially in the SEC with these coaches. Brett Venables had his team ready to go with their backs against the wall in a huge spot.
Absolutely did. All 3 of us kind of were writing this off last week, saying this is an opportunity where Alabama is going to get back on track. But man, Bama's got problems. Bama's got problems. This is the second straight week that we are going to talk about Ty Simpson not playing that great. If you want to take it a week prior to that, to the South Carolina game, he wasn't that great in that one either. And this offense, I mean, it lives and breathes through how Ty Simpson can move the football and make their offense look good. Because again, this was another opportunity last night. They cannot run the football. They can't run the football. They had 80 yards rushing last night. And when you can't run the football, I mean, this is true in every single level of football. When you can't run the ball, you are putting all the pressure on your quarterback and your receivers, and you just know that the defense is going to be able to sell out on the pass. They don't have to worry about it, and that's losing ball. That is losing football when you get away from just running the rock. Bama should be concerned. They have to go to Jordan Hare and win that game for an opportunity to go to the SEC championship game. But a step farther, Bama can't lose again. If they get to the SEC championship game and they lose, yeah, they're probably good. They're in the playoff. They lose that game against Auburn, they're out. They're done. I mean, you kiss goodbye. Good luck in the Outback Bowl. I mean, that is how it is. The cookie is going to crumble. So if I'm Kalen DeBoer, I don't feel great about where I am. I mean, will they probably beat Eastern Illinois and then followed up by beating Auburn? Probably. But still, this team in the SEC championship game playing against Texas A&M, playing against a team that can stop the run, they're not going to be in a good situation to win that game. When they go to the playoff and they're playing these good teams that are going to be able to completely shut their run game off, they're in a bad spot. This is not a team that can win the national championship in my eyes. And that's a take that I saw somebody said on some Barstool podcast the other day. I saw it like yesterday morning, and I was like, that's interesting. Then you watch them play yesterday, and it's like they don't have the formula. They don't have the formula. Too much has to go right in their passing game to win. And we've seen a lot of teams seen a lot of teams get close, but we never really see that team win.
Mm-hmm. I still think Bama's a wagon, though, and I understand they just lost, but it was just like a convolution of things that happened to them in the game the other night. And same thing could happen to them when they go to Auburn in 2 weeks, where you're -3 in the turnover margin. You can't run the football, which we knew that going into it. And you not only can you not, take care of the quarterback in the sack department and he fumbles it, but he also throws a pick six and doesn't make the tackle on that play. That is you could say the difference in the scores in so many spots. You have that. You got the fact that the kicker sucks. I don't know what Connor Talty's problem is, but he does not need to be yelling at the long snapper.
What did you guys think about that?
Like the snap was bad, right? The snap was bad. We can all be in agreement on that. The holder did an excellent job. He put the ball down. He got the ball down, laces out, everything. He missed the kick. It was on him.
The holder should have been the guy that it should have been mad, not the kicker.
Yeah.
But apparently, this is not Talty's first time of doing that, and he's had issues this whole season with things like that, especially short kicks. So, and look, kickers are an issue that you can't just solve. Like they can't just hold a tryout. I mean, they can try and bring a soccer player from the team on if they want to, but usually coaches don't work like that. You don't want to just throw somebody out of your locker room like that. And I'm sure Bama's got other kickers on the roster. I'm not sure what their special teams unit situation is, but obviously nobody's better than the guy. So that's going to be something that haunted them this week, and it haunted a lot of people this weekend. It's a common thing with kicking really screwed a lot of people.
Yeah. And I mean, also, like in their special teams, Ryan Williams had the fumble on the punt return. I mean, they put themselves in some really bad spots in that game, and they had a chance, but it really just you got to give credit to Oklahoma's defense. I mean, they stepped up when they needed to and made some really big plays. I mean, because like I said, the Oklahoma offense, I mean, there was not much going. They had maybe a couple plays here and there, but they were not sustaining drives or doing anything crazy. But they have made things very interesting. And another game that was really interesting was South Carolina versus Texas A&M. I don't think I've ever seen a football game flip so upside down in my life. And that's saying a lot. I mean, South Carolina, if you did not watch this game, which I thought it was really crazy. My girlfriend was gone for the first half of this game. She sat down. It was 30-3 right when the second half started. I was like, look at this. South Carolina's whipping ass. She never saw a second of that. And she was like, how is that happening? Because they haven't done a thing since I've sat down. Marcel Reed looked like a deer in the headlights in that first half. He had, 3 turnovers. I had a plus 500 South Carolina money line bet. I was counting the money up, and it came crashing down. A&M came out in that second half. They had a 4th and 12 at one point. convert it, and then nothing goes wrong for them the rest of the game. South Carolina got maybe 3 or 4 first downs the rest of the game. They could not stop a nosebleed, couldn't score a point, absolute incompetence after they had a crazy first half where everything looked to be going right. You had Nick Harper catching big passes. You had the running game a little bit established. Everything was going right. And then I don't know what the fuck they did at halftime. Fucking Shane Beamer was probably in there fucking handing out cupcakes and cookies to his team for a fucking good half for their 3-6 and against Texas A&M. Just, I'm telling you guys, I've never been so embarrassed, for myself and for another team and for another fan base and for, some of my best friends are South Carolina fans. And give credit to A&M. That was incredible and shows that Elko has his team focused and, has grit. But good fucking Lord, dude. I mean, Shane Beamer is the biggest clown in college football. I know you guys saw the video of him walking into the halftime. He's fucking celebrating. And then he comes in his post-game press conference. What he say? He goes, "Oh, no one was celebrating at halftime. No one was acting like the game's over. We knew what we needed to do." How do you do that? They didn't score a point. They did not do anything that whole second half. I have never been so mad about losing a bet, just anything like in my life, watching that team fold the way it did. And then this was huge because if A&M lost, Georgia would have clinched a spot in the SEC championship last night. And so there's all these things going on, and just the incompetence of Shane Beamer and Lenore Sellers just taking those sacks. I mean, he takes sacks like it's, what he gets paid to do. I mean, the guy's the best runner on the team. You can't escape the pocket. You can't, I'm flabbergasted, dude. Every time I keep thinking about this game, I just get mad. And yeah, so someone else talk.
I think he can boil this game down to two people, Marcel Reed and Mike Elko. Marcel Reed, his second half, he played as good a half as anybody's played in college football this season. I mean, the dude did not make a single mistake outside of that really stupid trick play they did, which is not really, that wasn't Marcel. He never even touched the ball on that snap, which was just so stupid. I mean, so stupid. Why are you running a trick play on the 1 yard line? Why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? But anyway, it wound up not bothering them. But you talked about it for a second, but Mike Elko is coaching, just as good as anybody in the country not named Kirby Smart, in my opinion. I mean, he got a 6-year extension, I think the morning of that game, maybe the day before. He earned every single dollar that he got paid on that contract, because this basically knocks it in for Texas A&M, because if they would have lost this game, that game in 2 weeks against the Texas Longhorns is not a shoo-in at all. And then you lose that game yesterday, and then you lose to Texas in 2 weeks, we can be talking about you're out the playoff. Just like that. As quickly as it comes, it can go. So huge win for Texas A&M, just being able to keep their composure, because, man, is it easy to go into the locker room down 30-3 and just pack it in. Just say, man, we'll get them next week.
They made it look so easy, man.
Yeah,
they scored
did
on their first 4 drives out of the half, and South Carolina didn't even do nothing after that.
South Carolina sucks.
They are not a good football team. They got into this game because Marcel Reed was throwing terrible interceptions. I mean, the first half for Marcel looked horrible. I mean, looked really bad in the first half, and I feel like that's the entire reason why South Carolina was even able to get up in this game. So many opportunities where they just gave the ball up. Every time they were having, a decent looking drive, Marcel Reed throws an interception. Then right before the half, he throws that pick that they go and they get another field goal out of it. So South Carolina's just not good. They're just not good. And I think Shane should get fired. I mean,
he should be. I don't know what else he needs to do to get fired. Fucking bum.
I can't believe he didn't get fired this morning, honestly. Like, I was totally expecting him to be canned today.
I can't believe there's people that stand up for him. I mean, it's ridiculous. How do you cannot lose that game? You cannot lose that game.
Yeah, I remember a few weeks ago, we talked about Shane Beamer, like the possibility of him getting fired, and I spoke in defense for him, like, who is South Carolina going to get better than Shane Beamer? Well, at that point, they were not 3-7. Now they are 3-7, and this is a team that we were talking about preseason. Lenore Sellers, who's obviously not as good as we thought he was. He's kind of pulling a DJ Lagway. And then also the guys that they have on the edge are freaks, absolute freaks. We saw that in the first half. They were giving Marcel Reed nightmares. He has too much talent to be 3-7. If they were, 5-6 or 5-5, 4-6, whatever it may be, then maybe you get a little bit of leeway. But man, there's just no excuse to be as bad as they are. None.
No, I agree.
Yeah, and look, like you guys said in the first half, South Carolina was able to capitalize off of everything that they did, turning the ball over wise. Like, I think they scored at least 17 points off turnovers. Then you look like Marcel Reed's second half. I don't know if I've ever seen. You can go look at the statistics of what he did second half. I don't think I've ever seen a quarterback turn around like that in a game. First half, 6 for 19, 123 yards, 2 picks. And I think he had a fumble, too,
And he
right?
had a fumble.
For a touchdown. Okay, second half. He went 16 for 20 for 316 and 3 touchdowns.
Heisman.
That is insane.
Heisman.
They were the easiest touchdowns of all fucking time, too, dude. I mean,
Mhm.
the South Carolina defense just giving things over the top when you've got a 25-point lead. You know, maybe you guys tell me if I'm wrong, but if I was winning a game by 20 points, I would just assume, hey, we're going to keep everything in front. We are not going to have people beat us for deep throws for quick scores. And that's all they did. All they did, dude. And then Shane Beamer, oh, we got 3 safeties right there. I don't know. We just got it wrong. I don't understand how I mean, that's just a mentally weak football team, the South Carolina Gamecocks. To come out that and literally have no offensive firepower. The only reason you had a chance is because Nick Harbor made a catch. Who, by the way, Nick Harbor, every time that guy catches the fucking football, he's hurt. I mean, that guy's made of glass.
Yeah, he's a track star. He's a track star. That's what he is. If Nick Harbor was good at football, he'd be good at football. I mean, like, he's going to be able to have a play here and there with, like, man, this guy's awesome. You know who he reminds me of? He reminds me of Justin Scott Wesley, a Georgia niche, like, throwback here. But JSW, when he got the football, the play I'm talking about is against LSU. He got the ball on the sideline against LSU and took off for a touchdown. It was awesome. It was like, well, why isn't Justin Scott Wesley on the field? Oh, he's hurt. He's hurt. He gets back in the game. He touches the ball. Oh, he's gone. Touchdown. It's awesome. But yeah, I'll say the opportunity, like right before halftime, Casey Concepcion drops a ball that hits him right in the number 7. And then they go out to kick a field goal and then miss it. That was the moment where I was like, there is no possible way they lose this football game.
And they did.
They lost the football game.
It's the first one. Somebody told me last night, it's like 4 out of 400 something tries where the team in the SEC has been up by 28 points. This is the first time somebody's won it ever.
Yeah. I mean, it was the biggest turnaround, the biggest switcheroo of a game I've ever seen in my life. Like I said, Chelsea was not with me the whole first half. Sat down. I said, look at this. And then it just went she's like you said, South Carolina sucks. She had no clue they were good for a half. Like, it's insane. Okay. Let's talk about some other games. Notre Dame beat Pitt 37-15. Absolute bloodbath. Not a must win for Pitt, though. So that's the best good thing. The easiest bet of the weekend. If you didn't have minus 12.5, you just were not giving yourself money. Jeremiah Love had a nasty spin move in this game also, along with 147 rushing yards. And Marcus Freeman was pissed off after this game. Did you guys see the handshake fiasco?
Yeah, he called a timeout at the end of the game.
Pat Narduzzi did?
Yeah, and Marcus Freeman said in his press conference he was ready to go celebrate.
All right.
It's a shocker that when you tell your team that this game that College Game Day is coming to, we're the best team we're going to play all season's coming to town. It's not a must win. It's a shocker that they weren't prepared. I can't believe it. Truly. I can't believe it.
Yeah, it was a boring game too. I mean, Notre Dame just whipped them from head to toe. Another big game. This was not a boring game. If you had it on maybe in your multi views, which by the way, YouTube TV back with ESPN. So we got our multi back. South Florida lost to Navy 41-38. So the G5 is shaking back up. Navy pretty much was leading the whole game, but South Florida had some big plays to get back into it. If you're not paying attention, Navy, North Texas, Tulane, and East Carolina all have one conference loss in the American. None of them play each other. So,
getting this issue in like every single conference.
Those are all the top 4 teams, and none of them play each other. So we'll see what happens. I mean, James Madison has a shot as well. They're 9-1, undefeated in the Sun Belt. Only lost to Louisville, but the G5 thing is just insane right now.
It is. I mean, who wants it? North Texas, Kennesaw State. I mean, Georgia Southern looked good this week. So
Kennesaw don't want it after last night.
Did Kennesaw lose?
Lost since week 2. Bummer. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who they have in the rankings on Tuesday night.
I think I think they should just write an amendment in the rules and just say, hey, listen, the group of 5, if y'all don't want it, y'all ain't getting it. Y'all got to show us something. You got to show us something.
Yeah, it's rough. Okay, USC sets up a big matchup with Oregon next week. They beat Iowa 26-21. They were down 21-7 in this game, and they came back and won this game. Makai Lemon had 10 catches, 153 yards, and a touchdown. He had a big day. The Big Ten is got some teams like USC and Michigan creeping in the back of the rankings there. Could get to 10-2. Just interesting stuff right there.
Yeah, I will say, Caleb did just say, it's the only conference where we know it's going to be Ohio State, it's going to be Indiana, barring anything crazy happening. But yeah, it does open up a lot of doors for them to maybe get a third team into playoff. We'll have to see, because there's definitely going to have to be some help along the way. We're going to have to see some Auburn's beating Bama. We're going to have to see Texas beating Texas A&M, or Georgia, Georgia losing to Charlotte. Just something crazy like that.
It's going to be interesting arguments of like, a 10-2 USC or 10-2 Oregon or a 10-2 Michigan, and or who's getting in against a 10-2 Vandy or 10-2 Oklahoma or 9-3 Texas. Like those are going to be interesting conversations as we go forward.
I just really don't believe a 9-3 team is going to find their way in this year. Like, there's going to be somebody that's 10-2 out of the ACC or Big 12 in the back end of that thing that's going to be able to just like, okay, well, here's your consolation prize. Good.
10-2 Miami. Speaking of Miami, ACC, just want to go through these just update you guys on these conference races real quick. ACC still struggling a little bit. Louisville loses to Clemson on Friday night, so they're pretty much out of it. Tech almost blew this whole thing up. If Tech would have lost on Saturday to Dawson College, which they tried to do very hard, I'm pretty sure Miami would have been right back in the thick of it because of the situation. But now the Georgia Tech Pitt game next week is huge. If Georgia Tech wins against Pitt next week, they will clinch a spot in the ACC championship. If Pitt wins, then the game against Miami, Pitt and Miami play the last week of the year. The winner of that will be going to the ACC championship, which is if assuming that Miami is sitting there still at 9-2. So that's a scenario to look out for. Virginia beat Duke. So Virginia just has to beat Virginia Tech in the last week of the season, and they'll be in the ACC championship. The Big 12, Texas Tech and BYU still at the top of the standings. There's still technically some scenarios where like Arizona State or Cincinnati. BYU plays Cincinnati this week, so that's going to be a big one. If BYU takes care of business, though, it's pretty much a virtual lock that BYU and Texas Tech will play again. Texas Tech only has one game left against West Virginia, so you can pretty much pencil those guys in. Big 10, Indiana and Ohio State obviously sitting at the top. Winning you're in. Indiana's only game left is Purdue. So, we're just going to, color that and marker that they're going to the Big Ten championship. Now, Oregon USC, I talked about that. That's a big game for, in terms of tiebreakers. If Michigan can win their next game against, I think it's Maryland, and then they have Ohio State at the end of the year, that game could mean everything. But if there's a situation if Michigan won that game and USC wins out, USC could play for the Big Ten championship because they have beat Michigan. So some things that could happen if Michigan beats Ohio State at the end of the year. So just something to think about there. SEC, 4 teams remain: A&M, Bama, Georgia, and Ole Miss. But Ole Miss has to have a lot of things happen. There's like a strength of schedule tiebreaker that would need to happen. But basically, if Ole Miss beats Mississippi State, Texas A&M, and Bama lose on the last week of the season, they can make it. Texas A&M win you're in, Alabama win you're in. Georgia just needs a loss by Texas or A&M or Bama. So that's kind of to catch everybody up on the conference races there. Any thoughts, guys? That was a lot.
That was a lot. Big 12, not really going to be paying a lot of attention there. I think Texas Tech is just far and away the best team of that conference. Hopefully that's going to be the only team to get in. Now, if BYU does beat them in the Big 12 championship, that's going to get really interesting. Yeah, hopeful for the Dogs. Really hopeful for the Dogs can be able to, get a fortunate, loss from either A&M or Bama. I think A&M's going to lose last game of the year against Texas. I really do. I'm fully on board with that now. It's going to be a rivalry game. It can happen. We'll see.
It's an interesting thing though. We talked about in the group message. Could Georgia be sitting there and let's say A&M and Bama both win, and we're sitting. So Georgia's sitting at 4. Rankings top 3 stay the same, right? Indiana or Ohio State wins, and you know they're both going to be in top 4, right? But Texas A&M, let's say Texas A&M beats Alabama, and so they beat them in the SEC championship. So Bama's not coming back to the top 4, and Georgia's sitting there at 11-1, didn't have to play the SEC championship, and could still get a bye.
That'd be awesome.
Or do you think that at that point we would have probably Texas Tech, assuming Texas Tech wins out, they win the Big 12 championship, would you think that they would probably give that to them over us?
I would believe so. I think they would definitely reward a conference champ. It's going to be a bad look to have a 12-1 team sitting behind an 11-1 team. You can say whatever you want to about whatever's going on. They got another trophy in their trophy case this year, another team didn't. And also putting themselves out there to go play another game, they probably deserve the bye compared to Georgia. I mean, Georgia's going to get the week off anyways.
It's interesting, though.
Definitely see Texas Tech at 12-1. They should get a bye. But
Yeah,
it's going to be really cool. I hope they host a game, honestly, because Lubbock hosting a playoff game would be elite.
Yeah, just trying to take my bias out of this. I agree.
I also think having the 5 seed is not a bad spot to be in, though.
It's a great year to be a 5 or 6 seed this year, because whoever, I think you're going to end up with a Georgia Tech at the 10 seed if you're the 6 seed and you get to host them. And I don't want to piss anybody off, but Georgia Tech is not that good. Okay, they're really not.
Yeah, I mean they were. I mean I feel like I thought they were for a while, but after yesterday, I mean, Boston College, 1-10 Boston College taking you down to the last freaking second. What are we talking about?
I know.
And
some say they should have lost the game already.
Some say a lot of people say that. But man, I have, there's a lot of friends of mine were in my fraternity that were, from Atlanta, just grew up Georgia Tech fans. The fact that they had the audacity to try and talk down to me as a Georgia fan today, and it's like, buddy, you just beat Boston College on a last second field goal. Worry about yourself, little bro. We will deal with y'all in a couple weeks. We'll deal with y'all in a couple weeks, and we'll end your season.
I know, and they're right there for the ACC though. I mean, they could I think if the ACC, it's bad. It's so bad.
Is,
and I keep trying. And it's really hard to keep giving anybody in their credit, because you want to keep well, Miami's really good when they're on, but you're one Carson Beck bad game away from just being no, there's really no good teams here.
And one of my favorite arguments that ACC fans love to pull out of their ass is well, these SEC teams beat each other up, and everybody's like, oh, it's such a tough schedule. And then it's like, dude, it's not even the same. And they realize it's not the same. They know, they understand it's not, but they're still going to use that stupid argument that that they're all good. There's one good team. They have 1.5 good teams in the ACC. They have Miami when they're on, and then half of Georgia Tech. I'll still hold on to Georgia Tech's okay, but it's just bad. It's bad. We're talking about, Duke, man, Duke really sold for us yesterday, because I was really hoping for that scenario where Duke wins the ACC and nobody gets in. I was really hoping for that, but
oh man, that would have been awesome. All right, let's get into
so awesome.
Our playoff rankings for the week. Caleb, what do we got?
So a little bit of shakeup, obviously, after Oklahoma went and did the thing in Tuscaloosa yesterday. They get a big bump here, and Texas went the opposite way. We said it was going to be a pivotal week. So here's what we got. We got Ohio State at 1 still. Got Indiana at 2 still. Got A&M at 3 still.
Can I stop you real quick? I want to poll the us 3. Did anyone drop A&M this week? Did anybody put Georgia at 3 and A&M at 4?
No. I put A&M. I've had A&M at 2 for the last couple weeks, and no, there's been no fluctuation with us on that part.
Huh? You've had them at 2.
I've had them over Indiana. Yeah.
I thought I was the Texas A&M guy on this podcast. I had no idea that Caleb liked it more than I did. I had no clue.
It is what it is. And I'll tell you, I'm more impressed after this week. If I had them at 3 last week, they would have definitely been 2 after doing the biggest comeback in SEC history. Say whatever you want to. Okay. Number 4 is Georgia. And then we had a tie at 5 with Ole Miss and Texas Tech both getting the same amount of votes.
How does that happen?
Yeah, I'm very unsure as to how that happened. I think one of us had Texas Tech was 2 spots higher on one and then 1 spot lower on 2 of them. Does that make sense? So, all right, for example, Jake.
I had 5. I had Texas Tech at 5.
Okay, so did Garrison, and I had them at 6. Okay, then Ole Miss was at 6 on Garrison's, and Ole Miss was at 5 on the other.
And then 7. No, Ole Miss was 7 for me.
7.
I'm hearing this Texas Tech is 5.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, did I do the math?
Yeah, that's what.
Okay. All right. Well, Texas Tech is the number 5 team. You know, it's a rookie development over here. We're novel. Texas Tech's number 5 team. Ole Miss is number 6. Okay, and then we got Oregon at 7. And we were uniform on 8 through 11. Oklahoma's 8, Emma is 9, and they're ahead of Notre Dame at 10. That's the one I was kind of iffy with whenever I was tinkering, but I just gave it to Bama because they play in a conference, and Notre Dame does not. And then Georgia Tech was the 11th team, last one in out of regular college football, Power 4. And then James Madison got 2 votes to go in. North Texas got 1.
How about that? North Texas, dude, they're still hanging around, but it's going to be interesting to see how the committee weighs the Sun Belt versus the American Conference.
Sun Belt's so much better. The Sun Belt is I think they're the 5th best conference, in my opinion.
Little homerism?
A little. All I'll say is, right there, that 12 that we just listed, there's obviously nothing concrete, but I just want to put in everybody's ear that if Vandy does indeed beat Tennessee, and Tennessee might be down after getting Florida at home this week, and I mean, they're going to Gainesville, have not won a game down there in a long, long time, and it's another night game. Don't care what you say, they just gave Ole Miss a big scare. Vandy has a pretty decent shot to sneak their way in the back door of this thing if somebody in front of them drops a game. And they'll just cruise in at 10-2 and be the 11 team and have a chance to go beat somebody.
It's just there's going to be 10-2 teams that don't make it. I'm at that point. Whether it's Miami, it's Vandy,
Utah,
USC, that's going to happen because I think there's going to be too many at this point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Notre Dame, I think Notre Dame is the one that really fucks it all up. Like, because them just getting the sneak in there, no conference, no good wins, just hanging around and just saying fuck you to the SEC and Big Ten. All right, let's get into NFL talk. Let's just rip the Band-Aid off real quick. Falcons lose to the Panthers 30-27 in overtime. Michael Penix seemed to get hurt in this game. He came out and seems that Kirk Cousins finished the game for the Falcons, which is just, a sight that you never want to see. Bryce Young had another legacy game against the Falcons defense. 448 yards, 3 touchdowns. Jake, you got anything to say?
Yeah, no, I mean, I have some things to say. I am pleading the 5th on the Falcons until Raheem Morris is fired. After I get done with this little stuff I want to talk about, because I have a lot of concerns. Number one, I'm going to start with Jeff Ulbrich because I feel like we just kind of crowned Ulbrich. I was like, oh, this guy's such a good DC, because he's surrounded by idiots. He's the tallest short person in the room. He got exposed today. Bad. 450 yards for Bryce Young. I think he had 4 total touchdowns, maybe 3 total touchdowns. The game-winning touchdown that they scored. We had Caden Ellis on Tet McMillan. Their best wide receiver, we have a linebacker on. And it's like, listen, I love Caden. I think Caden's a great player. He's one of our best. But we have him guarding their best wide receiver. Like, what are we doing here? So that's about Ulbrich. I'll talk about Zach Robinson. It just makes me laugh that Michael Penix comes out of the game, and what do we immediately do? Oh, we're under center, and we're doing play action. Like, he has to be, like, messing with us at this point. This has to be a joke because it's just, like, why can't Michael Penix do it? And then finally, I want to talk about Michael Penix. And this is probably going to be a bad take that people aren't going to like, and this is what it is because I've been very pro Penix, like, on this podcast, like, this whole time, even throughout people saying that he hasn't looked great. I think he was playing a heck of a game today. I think he was playing one of his better games he's played as a pro today. He had like 3 incompletions when he got taken out, 3 or 4. I mean, he was getting the ball downfield. He was completing passes. He made a couple plays with his legs, but then he gets hurt. And here's where my issue comes in. We had 2 banged up quarterbacks today, right? Bryce Young was hurt, and then Bryce Young gets stepped on. He gets his foot stepped on. He falls down, and then the left guard steps on his knee. 350-pound man stepping on your knee has to hurt so bad. Bryce Young did not miss a snap. He went to the sideline, and he went back in there. Michael Penix falls hard on his knee and then misses the rest of the game. And listen, I'm not trying to, call him out on his manliness or whatever, but it just gets to a point where I feel like in the NFL, if you are going to go out of the game, you should be not on the sideline. Like you should be in the blue tent. You should be in the locker room getting tests ran, like trying to do whatever you need to do to get back in the game. And having him standing on the sideline watching Kirk Cousins play today, like infuriated me. It made me so angry because I just don't feel like that is the sign of a guy who wants to go out there and win. If he wants to go out there and win, he would have done everything he could to get back in there. Now, maybe tomorrow it comes out that he tore his ACL or he ruptured his meniscus or something, and if that happens, I take all this back, and I'm sorry, Mike, but it's just a bad look. It's a bad look having him out there when the quarterback on the other sideline is getting the crap knocked out of him every single snap. And he still played, and he still threw for 450 yards, and he still threw multiple touchdowns. Just a bad look, and nothing I want to see.
And it was interesting because he had that press conference moment this week where
which I think that's weak. I think that's weak too, brother. This is the NFL. This isn't college football. This isn't high school football. You're not going to have somebody on the sideline with you just like, hey, Mike, you got it, man. You'll get him next time. That didn't happen in the league. This is the NFL, bro. This is the National Football League. You're getting paid millions of dollars to play a kid's game. You're not going to – I thought that was soft. But Mike has not had a great week in my eyes with this and with that press conference.
Caleb, come on. Give us some quarterback talk here.
Well, it's not going to be positive. I do agree that you guys lose the toughness battle with every other quarterback that you play against. And look, Penix, not only does he seem like he's a little gun shy whenever there's pressure in the pocket, like if you can get to him early in the game, it's going to be a long night for Falcons fans to be watching him play. It's just the truth. And I want to focus less on Penix than what Jake's got. I mean, it's y'all's franchise quarterback. I didn't actually get to watch this game very much. How does Raheem Morris have a job?
He's got to get fired tomorrow. He's got to get
tonight or tomorrow. It's got to be done. It has to be done.
He's now 3-7. Missed the playoffs last year. Going to miss the playoffs again this year. He is now 22 games under 500 as a professional coach. That's ridiculous. And then you go down the list of the people that we interviewed and hired him over. Like all of them are in talks to make the playoffs. Every single one of them.
Draw some juice. Who did you guys have on that interview scale right there for Raheem?
Mike McDonald is really the number one because we interviewed Mike McDonald. There was mutual interest. Mike McDonald wanted to come to Atlanta, and we hired Raheem over him. Well, I mean, there's a couple. I mean, like we did also interview Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson wasn't coming anywhere that offseason, to be fair, but you look at the turnaround that they've had in one season. Boom, they're 7-3. They're 7-3. And you said it a couple weeks ago, Caleb, and that's like it's really stuck with me since you said it. But this is a coach's league. The players matter. The players matter a lot. But if you have a bum running your team, making the decisions, you're not going to win games. You're not going to. Look in Denver. Like since they got Sean Payton, they're a completely new team than what they were just a couple years ago when they lost by 70 points to the Miami Dolphins. They're a completely different team. Look at the Jacksonville Jaguars. 6-4, first-year coach. It's possible. It is absolutely possible when you have a guy there who knows what he's doing, says the right things in the locker room, gets his guys ready, and we don't have it. He has to be fired tomorrow. He has to. It's inexcusable. It's inexcusable. Stupid hired them, and if he coaches again next week, it's even stupider. It just gets dumber and dumber. And then the fact that I have to see Arthur Blank on the freaking sidelines. Like, listen, I get it. Like Arthur Blank's like a good guy, whatever, and he's the worst owner in football. He is the worst owner in football. He is. Well, he's not the worst. He's definitely he's definitely bottom 10, bottom 5. And I'll say another reason why I cannot stand Arthur Blank. I can't stand him is because he has owned this team since the 2000s, and we have had like 4 seasons where it's like, oh, that was a good squad. We made the NFC Championship game twice with him, one time to the Super Bowl, and all of that time we are Atlanta. It's not like we're some small market team that we can't attract free agents or whatever this. We should be able to. We should be a destination spot. We absolutely should be. And he's not going to sell the team. I mean, it's never going to happen. He's bringing another professional team to Atlanta. I think they got like a women's soccer team he's about to own that's coming to town. He owns the Atlanta United. He basically built Mercedes-Benz Stadium like with his money. It's never going to happen. But he sucks. And I hate how everyone's always like, oh, Arthur Blank's such a good guy. He's such a good guy. He really cares about the players. He doesn't care about the fans. He could care less about the fans.
Rich McKay's the guy that needs to go out of all this.
Rich McKay is an interesting conversation because he sucks also. But the thing, another flag on Arthur Blank is of how Rich McKay must have naked pictures of Arthur Blank or must have proof that he's cheating on his wife or something. Because the fact that this guy has stuck around for as long as he has, and then Arthur Blank goes into the media and says, "Oh, well, Rich McKay doesn't have anything to do with football operations." But then you rewind the clock to last year when they were interviewing all their head coaches. Who was in the room with Arthur Blank?
McKay.
Rich freaking K was in there for every single step. So what is it, Arthur? What is it? Because he's protecting this guy like, I don't even know, like something.
Well, it'd be different if it's since he's been there. Like he was there whenever y'all went on the runs in 16 and 17, correct? But since then,
he's been there since like the 20s. He's been there for a very long time.
So, I mean, the first like 9 years of his tenure was pretty decent. I mean, because y'all were relevant in 12 and I think 13 and 15 and 16 and 17. And it all came crashing down. But
yeah, sure. But he had nothing to do with any of that. When he came to town, we already had Matt Ryan. We already had Tony Gonzalez. We already had Roddy White. We already had Julio Jones. We had all of these guys. It's like, what has Rich McKay provided to anything?
Yeah.
He's a vibes guy.
And look, I already said once I didn't watch this game, but I got a message for my Falcons fans out there because a lot of y'all are my friends. I just want to urge you. You should follow in Garrison's footsteps. Stay even keel. I've heard so many people running their damn mouths about this game that's in my background right now before it even happened. And they're just like, oh, yeah, Falcons, yeah, we're going to win a division. We'll get the Bucs a run. We're 7 seed at minimum in the playoffs, da-da-da-da-da. And it's every year. Like, it's every year. You couldn't see the writing on the wall that Raheem Morris was terrible. And look, you can say whatever you want to. Jake brought it up about Ben Johnson. You think the Chicago Bears have better skill players than the Atlanta Falcons? Hell no. Not at any position. Not at any position. It is purely coaching failures. And they just, pipe down. Just calm down a little bit. Let's temper expectations as Falcon fans until you get a competent offensive coach in the building and you figure out if your quarterback is made of glass or if he's got, low pain tolerance or he needs some more Tylenol. Maybe go to the Percocet options that Aaron Rodgers explored with back in the day. I mean, we got some questions to answer.
Just make them prove it to you, quit. The advice I can give is just quit thinking that the Falcons, love you the way that some people love the Falcons. Because they don't, dude. They don't. And they show it to you every Sunday. And my biggest thing is especially this year, watching Georgia every Saturday. And yes, they stress me out. But they fight so hard, dude. They fight so hard. And the Falcons just they look like they give up in the biggest moments every time after time after time. And that's just something that, eventually becomes numb. It just becomes numb. And, I'm sad. I think Jake is coming along a little bit. I'm glad Jake was able to express before the podcast. I was worried about this moment here, but you did well, Jake. And, we're thinking about you, bud.
Yeah, just don't expect it going forward. I'm being so serious. Like, if we lose to the Jets next week, don't expect a rant. Don't expect a rant. There won't be a rant. There won't be. I'm not going to say it. I might not utter the words Falcons on this podcast until Raheem's gone, until he's gone.
All right. Well, let's talk.
I'm a Jags fan. You want to talk about the Jags game next? We'll talk about the Jags game. Dude, the Jags looked awesome today.
35-6 against the Chargers. Hey, talk about revenge for the comeback wild card game a couple years ago, huh?
Yeah, right. Yeah, they definitely did not show up at all. I mean, the good Lord, Justin Herbert got taken out to start the fourth quarter in this game. I was truly amazed at how lopsided this game was. Amazed. I think it's the shocker of the game. Like, if all of was week 11 at the NFL, this is easily the score. You're like, huh? That must be a typo. Because the Jags, I mean, I think I said it on the last pod, but I mean, they have not been looking great the last few weeks, ever since they beat the Chiefs on Monday Night Football. But dude, today the run game was there. Trevor threw a boneheaded pick again, but he was able to bounce back. Defense looked great again, a couple turnovers.
Didn't blow a lead in the fourth.
Didn't blow the lead.
How about
Jags might be back. Jags might be back because I do the Colts. Do they play tonight? They play tomorrow? Are they off?
They're off this week.
They're off this week. They can still get the South because the Jags still got 2 games with the Colts coming up. They could do it.
There you go. Jake's finding ways to find faith in another team, and then they're just gonna do the same thing.
Shout out Jacoby Myers showing up, having a big day today, huh?
Mm-hmm.
New addition.
He's
really
been a big signing.
Well, he didn't have a touchdown. Bet him anytime touchdown. He didn't have one of those. Would have been nice if he did that for me, but it's okay. It's okay. But yeah, big win for the Jags. Shout out to the Jacksonville Jaguar fans who listen. Another Florida team, the Bucks, they lost today 44-32 to the Bills. And Josh Allen, he went full Josh Allen mode today. If you didn't see it, he had 3 passing touchdowns and 3 running touchdowns. Some guy named Sean Tucker scored 3 touchdowns for the Bucks. The Bucks have like nobody healthy. I don't know if you guys have noticed that, but like Evans isn't there, Godwin isn't there, Irvin didn't play. Like they barely got Vita Vea in there today. Like they're a little roughed up, and it's starting to become an issue because the Panthers are now creepingly in the race here for NFC South. And the Bills got a huge win to keep up with your Patriots game.
Yeah, I was really hoping that they were not going to be able to pull away in the fourth quarter, and that's what it was, the second half offense for the Bills. I mean, the Bucks kind of sputtered, and I think it goes back to kind of what you're talking about. They're a beat-up team. It's tough to go on the road and play anywhere, especially in Buffalo, New York. So, big get-back spot for the Buffalo Bills after some disappointing results the last couple of weeks. I mean, we just saw them get smoked by the Dolphins, and for them to come back and beat one of what I think is a better team in the NFL and the Bucks, without injuries on the table. But it is a major factor for them and their team going forward. And you're right, the Carolina Panthers can just as well win this division as anybody. And it's really a shame. Hate to go back to the Falcons. I still think they're one of the more talented teams in this division, and it's not. They can't even smell it. And the bar is going to be like 9 wins, 10 wins this year to win the South.
I think it'll still. I feel like the Bucks are getting 10 wins still. I mean, because like Garrison brings up a really good point. Like Tampa Bay is the most banged up team in the NFL right now. I mean, they have everyone everywhere. The fact that Bucky Irving is still not back is quite concerning because I thought he was going to be back last week when y'all played. And then still out today, Rashad White and Sean Tucker are doing like a really good job like filling in for him, but they need Bucky back. Mike Evans is out. You were talking about Vita Vea being out. They got a couple linemen that are out. They got a couple other players on defense that are out. It's scary hours for Tampa because
and they still put up 32. Like it's just they ran into a Josh Allen nuclear game. Bears beat the Vikings 19-17. AJ and the Vikings, they almost did the exact same thing that they did in Week 1 against the Bears. They were losing this whole game. They were down 16-3, and they came back. They took the lead 17-16, but this time Chicago Bears learned from their mistakes. They had a huge kick return with about, when there was less than a minute to go, set them up for a game-winning field goal. 7-3, like we mentioned. Bears could be going to the offs. Ben Johnson.
They probably could be. Unless they fall apart, they probably will be.
It's amazing to me that the Vikings have let like 3 good quarterbacks just walk out the door and stuck with McCarthy and just decided that was the guy that they were going to pick out of Sam Darnold and all those boys that had walked through there. It's insane.
Daniel Jones was in the building.
So JJ, I think today was his 5th career start. He has 9 turnovers already. Yeah. He's not good.
Well, who could have thought?
A good drive.
Who would have thought JJ McCarthy, the guy that only had to throw the ball 10 times a game in college, was ever going to just, not be good at football?
Signing a camera after winning the national championship, a game where he threw 10 pass attempts, signing the camera.
Oh my gosh, dude. That was the most obvious, what the fuck are you doing? Packers beat the Giants. Got to see Jameis Winston for the first time this year. Giants had a lead, and just like all year, even without Brian Dable, they blow it. Jameis had a pick and a fumble at the end of the game to really ice it. But there was some talks that, Green Bay and Matt LaFleur, there might be some, turbulence there. And they barely survived, because if they would have lost this one, I think that would have really heated up.
I think it's going to heat up. I think he might be out after this year. I think he might.
It's the dumbest thing ever.
It's dumb. I agree, but I think he might be.
He's also like one of the best starts in NFL history. I think he's like 72-36-1 in his career. And he's only been there, 5 years? Like, that is insane of a winning clip. And you're talking about just walking away because, the offense has sputtered a little bit? Let's not forget, Green Bay's a little injured too now, and Josh Jacobs went down today. So I don't know how much better it's going to get for them here in coming weeks. I mean, they had Christian Watson come back, and he played well today. Still, unfortunately, the Giants, with or without Brian Dable, cannot hold on to a lead.
Yeah. Texans beat the Titans 16-13. Kind of a shit game no one cares about. But I just wanted to ask you guys about Cam Ward. Through his stats through 10 games, 58% completion percentage, 1,954 yards, 6 passing touchdowns, and 6 interceptions, and he's been sacked 41 times. What are our initial thoughts on Cam Ward? Do we think it's going to work out there, or what do we think?
I think he's fine. I mean, I think he's fine. We also have to consider that the Titans have nothing. I mean, name one other Titan.
Tony Pollard, Calvin Ridley.
Yeah, I guess. But I mean, they're terrible.
I mean,
Like,
it's very slim after that.
Yeah.
So I
to-
saw a guy that I played against in a game, and well, I didn't play in the game, but he showed up to the stadium that I was at on the sidelines for, named Mason Kinsey. He even got on the field today. This guy's a product from Berry College D3. Like, look, the guy's good, but that's what Tennessee's playing. Like, he's been a
Mhm.
3-year practice squad player for them. They have a terrible team. Terrible team.
He,
And I think Cam Ward's going to be fine. Not there, though.
Yeah, or they're gonna have to do a lot of changes. A lot of changes. Maybe bring AJ Brown back. But I mean, he did lead like a potentially game-winning drive there at the very end. He was making some plays with his legs. I think Cam Ward's very talented, and I'm not going to shut the door on him just yet. We've seen plenty of quarterbacks get off to rough starts their rookie year, and they were fine. Look at Peyton Manning. I mean, that's the number one example that people like to point their finger to. I'm not saying he's going to be Peyton Manning, but I'm saying he might be, a little bit worse, but not, terrible. I don't know. I'm not shutting the book on him just yet.
Tennessee picked number 1 for a reason, too.
All right. Steelers smoked the Bengals 34-12. Jamar Chase and Jalen Ramsey got into a fight. Apparently there was some spit being spat, which is just so funny how that happens. I never once in my life spit on somebody on purpose. Steelers defense had 2 touchdowns in this game. Aaron Rodgers left with a hand injury. So that's something interesting to go forward. Mason Rudolph came in there with dealing.
He was dealing. It's good that it's Aaron Rodgers' left hand, though. I want people to know that it's his left hand. Whatever's going on, they could probably be able to, use the good stuff and get through that injury instead of him not, it doesn't affect him throwing the ball.
Yeah. Okay. Dolphins beat the Commanders in Spain this morning, 16-13. They've won 3 of their last 4 games. The Dolphins have. They might be going on a little run here. They've got a pretty easy schedule. I think it was John Gruden the other day was giving a take about how he thought that the Dolphins could end up like 9-8, and that would just be a crazy turnaround. It also
Coolest stadiums I've ever seen. I don't know if you guys have like this. Where was it? It was in Madrid.
Spain.
The stadium's grass, right? But they take the grass and it goes to a warehouse underneath the ground whenever they're not like playing a game on it. And they grow it under there. Makes you wonder what MetLife Stadium's really doing. Because, I mean, there's no reason. If teams are doing all this just to make sure they don't have to play on turf, why can't we do the same thing over here?
Well, listen, not to talk about soccer or whatever, man, the amount. No, actually, listen to me here for a second. 'Cause I'm not going to talk soccer. The amount of money that those clubs spend on their players and on their facilities, is on their stadiums, is outrageous. And this is where Real Madrid plays. I mean, a top 3 club in the entire world. I mean, competing for Champions League every single year. You ain't gonna have many shortcuts at Real Madrid's spot. Same with when they go to London and they play at Wembley, where Tottenham plays. It's the nicest stadium in the world.
Well, it's good they're getting treated well over there. No big injuries. Okay, afternoon slate. Seahawks lose to the Rams 21-19. Rams keep rolling. Biggest stat line I see in this game is that Sam Darnold threw 4 interceptions.
And it still came down to a last-second field goal. Still came down to it. The Seahawks defense is really dang good. And if you weren't convinced on that before today, that is your proof. The proof is in the pudding. 4 interceptions. They're still able to keep this team in it. The Rams are rolling. And they're going to get a top 5 pick.
That's insane. The boys keep doing it. The bad guys get badder. You know what I'm saying? They're going to be able to draft somebody that's really, really good with that pick, too. It'll probably help them out even more on defense. Look, you want to talk about Seattle today. 4 picks. Just completely uncharacteristic for Sam Darnold compared to what he's done this year. I'm sure I wouldn't be shocked if he hasn't thrown 4 picks yet to this point before today started. And lose by 2, brutal. Big game for their division, too. Like, the Rams are in the driver's seat to go ahead and salt this one away.
Yeah. And speaking of their division, the 49ers smoked the Cardinals today, but Jacoby Brissett had 47 completions in this game. It was the most ever completions in an NFL game.
And they lost.
Yeah. They got, mollywopped. Cardinals suck, though. The Ravens beat the Browns 23-16. Shedeur Sanders came in the game. And Lamar Jackson had an awful fantasy day, Caleb. Have you seen our fantasy matchup here? Lamar Jackson finished with 0.72 points today in fantasy.
Ooh, what?
And they still won the game. He threw 2, but Shedeur Sanders did come in.
And He
Look at that
almost
stat
led a
line,
game-winning
buddy.
drive. He almost did. I was watching it. Like, while y'all were talking, I had red zone on and he was going down the field. He almost did it. But
He was
didn't.
4 for 16 today
that's pretty bad.
for 47 yards and a pick.
Dylan Gabriel get like hurt, or they just bench him?
Concussion.
Yeah, he got
Concussion.
hurt.
But for the Browns, I mean, it must be fun watching Myles Garrett. Didn't he have like 4 sacks again today? Dude, let's see. Hold on. Yeah, Myles Garrett had 4 sacks today. So
Holy smokes.
I assume he might win Defensive Player of the Year this season, which that'll be nice, I guess.
I wonder if he's regretting signing that extension.
Dude, after asking for a trade, and then just was like, fuck it, I guess I'll stay. Money talks. Okay, and in the last game, Chiefs Broncos, I just watched it here a second ago. Broncos walked it off, win 22-19. Broncos are now 9-2, undefeated at home, 6-0, and the Chiefs are 5-5 and are about 2 games out of the 7th seed right now, because the 7th seed right now is the Jacksonville Jaguars, and the Chiefs lost to them. So interesting scenario right now. The Chiefs even going to make the playoffs.
I hope not, personally. I mean, I love my boy Malik, but I mean, it's just for the good of the game, I think. They need to take a step back. And they've been spending their money in the wrong spots, in my opinion, too. Like, they're giving Travis Kelce all this cash, and he's not even that great. And they haven't been good up front on the offensive line, not nearly as what they were. So good for the Chiefs. Good for the Broncos, huh? How about that? How about Bo Nix showing out once again? That defense is also really, really good for Denver, and they're going to continue to roll, I think, for the rest of this year.
Yeah, I mean, that's the headline. This defense is absolutely freaking ridiculous. It's insane. It's insane. And the Broncos just keep getting it done. They keep getting it done. I talked down on them last week, saying that they were the Pittsburgh Steelers of like 2018 or when 2019, and they still found a way. This game was teed up for Kansas City to come away with the late win. They weren't able to. So props to the Denver Broncos. 9-2 to speak for itself.
And they keeping up with the New England Patriots in the AFC wild or playoff race. Which I don't know if we talked about the game, but Justin Fields had a butt fumble-ish play in that game. I don't know if you guys saw that, going back way to Thursday. But New England took care of business in that night as well.
What do you think about those jerseys they were wearing?
I like them a lot. I think they look good. I think all the gear looks good, like the hoodies and stuff. You know what I'm saying? All the coaches on the sideline, the hats are sick. May or may not have to look at getting something of that merchandise.
I think you should. That hoodie, the hoodie you're talking about, where it says "We're all Patriots." That's like the whole color scheme. It just works. It works really well.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's all the NFL games. Just real quick, Sunday night game. We've got the Eagles Lions. Who's going to win?
Give me the Lions.
I'll take the Lions as well, too. I think they're really, really good against defenses that give up somewhat, some points here and there. Don't think if you go and look at the Eagles, like they've been giving up a good bit of points this year on that side of the ball, and Detroit tears teams up on offense when they get, soft opponents.
Okay. I'm going with the Lions as well. Okay, let's get into our players and deep thoughts of the week. Caleb wins again last week. Jonathan Taylor with the dub. So the standings are now 5. Caleb and me and Jake both at 3. So Caleb's got a substantial lead. Since I went first last week, I will let Jake go first this week. Caleb, you'll be going last since you have a 2-game lead.
Gonna go ahead and call it. This is a winner right here. This is gonna be a winner. As you know, Georgia Southern had a huge win yesterday over Coastal Carolina, 45-40, won in overtime. So my player of the week this week is going to be O.J. Arnold, a running back out of Quitman, Georgia. Good old boy out of Quitman, Georgia, going to Georgia Southern Eagles. He had 21 carries for 267 yards and 2 touchdowns yesterday. I mean, listen, here's my thing about Georgia Southern. Georgia Southern, really, since I enrolled at Georgia Southern, they used to be this whole triple option, run it down your throat. That's who Georgia Southern was. Then they got into this whole spread thing. That's all nice and wonderful and all, but when you see a Georgia Southern running back put up 270 yards rushing and a couple tuds, I mean, that brings a tear to your eyes. So OJ, not that OJ, this OJ, OJ Arnold, player of the week.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm going to go with, and that was out of left field, and that's respectful, Jake. You went and dug deep for that one. I like that.
I've never done a Georgia Southern player for player of the week before. So that's just saying it's not a homer pick. You have to earn it. And I think those are respectful stats to throw out for player of the week.
Yeah, no, for sure. And, I want to go with the homer pick, but I'm not, because I want to win fair and square.
Gunner, you can do
Gunner.
He already took the homer pick. Jake's going to get all of his – he's going to text in every group message he's got from Georgia Southern and say, yo, go vote for me. So this thing's already wrapped up. You can try your best.
No,
See,
I'm
I
gonna
don't
go.
have to.
I'm going to go with Josh Allen. Josh Allen's 19 for 30 today with 317 passing yards, 3 passing touchdowns, and he ran for 3 touchdowns as well. He had 6 total touchdowns in an NFL game. That it doesn't get much better than that.
No.
I mean, Gunnar Stockton had 5 touchdowns, so I just, and he was playing Texas. So I'm going to give the Bucks defense a little bit advantage over Texas defense, but Josh Allen had a whole nother touchdown. So I'm going to go Josh Allen.
That's probably the winner. I'm going to throw a good one in here, though. This is a SEC guy. We talked about him a lot on this podcast. I think we've crowned him to be the best running back we think this in college football. Todd Hardy went off against Mississippi State this weekend for the Missouri Tigers. 25 carries for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. So lest we forget, this guy is still really, really good. I know people kind of quieted their talk on Missouri just because they're 7-3, but he's still a very respectable player, and they needed to win this game. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there for Mississippi State wanted them to try and make a bowl game here. Now they're staring at the Egg Bowl, trying to get a dub there in order to keep their chances alive. But Ahmad Hardy ran over all their hopes and dreams.
That's a crazy. I didn't know he had 300 rushing yards. Dude, this might be a tight race this week. It's usually not tight. The players of the week are usually not tight. It's usually one person takes it by the balls. We've actually had that one that tied, I think, once, and then I think Jake just made a decision. So
yeah.
Okay, let's get to our deep thoughts before we get out of here. Caleb, will you start us off?
All right, so this is something that me and Garrison actually talked about a little bit last night, and I'll text about it in the group chat here and there. But I just want to inform the crowd. If you are not going to watch these coaches in their post-game pressers, you are missing out, okay? And I'll just take 2. I'll watch 2 today. I have not gotten Kalen DeBoer yet. I'm waiting. I'm going to do that one tonight probably before I go to bed. I watch Kirby and I watch Lane Kiffin. Those are the 2 best going right now, okay? And Kirby's in there telling, he's dropping bars talking about these guys want checks. They don't want to get hit, or it's going to come with a price to pay over here at Georgia. And just some of the questions that these reporters ask, and then just getting these candid answers from these coaches that are jacked up after a game, it's always a classic. It really gives you a beat as to where they think about their team. And I will tell you, I've watched a lot of Kirby Smart press conferences. This might be his favorite Georgia team that he's ever had, just how he talks about the positivity of everybody being able to do what they do on the field. And then go to Lane Kiffin. Those reporters suck. Okay, the people in Oxford that are asking him questions, they don't like Lane Kiffin, clearly, because all they ask about is do you think you're going to be the head coach at Ole Miss next year? Or what do you say to those fans that had, Florida fans chanting for you in the student section? We get it. Everybody knows that he's got the rumors. Do you really think that he's going to say something to upset his team when he's in the middle of a 10-win season? You don't go on runs like that out of nowhere. But those reporters still want to just ask him. It's not about the game. It's not about how many people showed up to the stadium. It's about the fact that Ron DeSantis was in town. Everybody thinks he's going to go ahead and leave. It's ridiculous.
DeSantis was at the Ole Miss game?
Oh, yeah. Theo Vaughn walked out Lane Kiffin. There was a scene in Oxford this weekend.
Yeah, Theo Vaughn, I did see that.
Why was Ron DeSantis at that game? Well, I guess it was Florida. Okay, never mind. Sorry. Sorry.
Might be there, talking to some big wigs because he's going to be the one cutting the check for whoever the next head coach is. I mean, hopefully he's not as involved as LSU governor or state of Louisiana, I must say.
Well, I'll say this about Ron DeSantis. I think he's the best governor in the entire country. And if Ron DeSantis gets involved, it's going to be a home run hire. That's all I'm saying. That dude is awesome. I love Ron DeSantis. Not to get political, but he's that guy.
He's gold on Twitter, too.
I love the coaches' press conferences. I'm with you, Caleb. We talked about that last night. I love watching especially Kirby's. I know I talked about maybe last week on one episode. I watched Dan Lanning's. Loved watching Shane Beamer's last night. Fucking loser. I loved it. So.
But that line that Kirby said was a lot of players are more concerned about cutting checks, not physicality. That
interview was bad ass, dude. He's talking about we're going to drag him to the water. We're going to drag him to the water, see if they ring that bell, trying to give out. He's talking about SEAL training. Yeah. That's the message and just the mantra that your team's living and dying with that week. We want to take them to their limit.
Yeah, Gunnar Stockton said that in his post-game presser too. They asked him about it, and it's just awesome. You want to watch another? Yeah, Bert there. But you guys want to watch another good press conference? Just watch Gunnar Stockton, dude. I'm not gonna say they're elaborate answers, but I just love watching Gunner Stock talk. Like he gives them nothing what they want. They want something juicy out of him, and he just is straight to the point. Like he is wired different. Carson Beck could never be that chill in a post game presser. All right, my deep thought is just gonna be kind of a funny one. But this week, it's been a while since this has happened, but Jake was fooled again by a fake account this week.
They're so convincing.
274 Sports got Jake this week, and my deep thought is Jake has really got to start proofreading stuff. It's I thought we had gotten past it, and we get a text on Thursday or Friday that Lenore Sellers is transferring. Oh shit! And off.
Okay, can I defend myself a little bit? So I saw it. I saw that post that morning. That morning, I saw a post, and I was like, "Huh, interesting." And I did not read into it, and I didn't say anything. And then later that afternoon, I saw another post, and I guess it was by another fake account saying that Lenore Sellers has taken everything South Carolina related off of all the social media. And I was like, oh, dude, it's legit. It's happening. Fire off the text this week. Oh, man, just trying to get something out of Ryan. And yeah, it was fake. It was fake. It happens. It happens. It's not fun to fact check. It's not fun. Just fire off at the hip and hope you get something right.
It is funny. It's one of the funniest things that happens. And it used to happen a lot more. I don't know if anybody remembers, but last year there was a time where Jake thought that the Giants actually forgot to send the Ojolari trade in time or something. And I told him live on the podcast that he got duped. So I love when that happens. It's always just a good wrinkle in the system.
Yeah.
All right, Jake, finish us off.
So, I mean, I basically just kind of gave away what my deep thought's going to be, just kind of firing from the hip. I have a feeling about something. This is going to be my deep thought. I think Steve Sarkisian's out of Texas after this year, and I think he's going to go to the NFL, and I think he's going to be a head coach. I think he's going to be a head coach. I don't have a lot of, facts to back this up, but it's just a feeling I have. And listen, he has these connections to Atlanta. He was the offensive coordinator there. He was a quarterback coach back in the early 2000s. He has ties to the NFL. I feel like that loss last night against Georgia is probably going to weigh pretty heavy on him because he has a lot of work to do to get this Texas team back up to par to compete in the SEC week in and week out and win it and then go to the playoffs and win the national championship, do all this stuff. And I'll be honest, I don't know why anyone would want to be a college football coach now. With the old NIL, with transfer portal, with all these egos and from 18, 19-year-olds that you have to deal with, I don't know why anyone would want to do that. And I also guarantee you Steve Sarkisian could get a head coaching job in the NFL. I'm looking at that Falcons job that we know is going to open up. Look at the Giants job. There's, definitely a few other ones. What if Mike McDaniel, if they don't rally and get a good record, Mike McDaniel could definitely be out of Miami. That Titans job, perhaps. I mean, just looking through here, the Giants, the Cardinals.
What do you think about the conversations that Lane Kiffin be going to the Giants? Y'all been seen that online?
I have seen that. Unwarranted, honestly. I mean, it's well documented the bromance he has with Jackson Dart. So I think, just like Jake said, it's a much better gig to coach in the NFL right now. Much better.
And it's more money.
It's comparable money, depending on what team you play for, or coach for. That depends on your pay, but the Giants will pay you. Like the Mara family is going to cut the check for whatever it is. But then also too, you get an off season. People go on vacation in the NFL. You don't get to do that as a college football head coach. There's no time because every calendar, everything just goes back to back to back. Like by the time the playoffs are done, they're going to be worried about the portal window opening up. And then once that's done, they're going to be going to all the conference meetings, and then they're going to do spring ball, and then here's summer, and then here's the football season again. There's just no time off for those guys. So if I was Lane, I would look at it for sure. Don't know if the Giants are going to be the team you're going to go for though.
Yeah. All right. Well, that'll wrap up episode 29. Man, we're going to be late November. It's getting a little colder outside. Today I saw the trees with no leaves on them.
Yeah, they're all on my front porch.
Yeah, my back porch is just covered in leaves right now. It is exhausting.
But again, Deep Shot Sports, helping pause event at Mutation Brewery in Sandy Springs, Georgia on November 22nd. We are 5 days away, boys and girls. And whoever listens to this podcast, it is going to be the biggest event in the history of Deep Shot Sports. And we can't wait to see you there. For Caleb and for Jake, I'm Gary. Deep Shot out. We'll see you guys in a couple days.